Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy that you all took the opportunity to join us today. I'm hoping that you'll learn a lot about TOC that you didn't already know, and that we're able to answer your questions so you will want to become part of us, a TOC registrant. Let me introduce my co-partners for the Professional Development Program Committee for the 2021-2022 program year. So I'm Trina Patty. I'm the chair of the Professional Development Program Committee. Claire Goodwich and Karen Hoffman are my co-chairs working with me. We have a great program year planned for you, and hopefully you will be joining us. And Claire is waving at everyone as she has stated. So right now I'm going to turn it over to our TOC chair, Steve Dabrowski, who will talk to you and share with you what TOC is going to be doing this year. Steve?
Thank you, Trina, and thank you, Cheryl, for bringing us all together. It is my pleasure today to be here presenting to you today a couple logistical things that we have going on so we can clear the air on this. One is the question and answers. We're going to be taking questions towards the end of the session. So if you have a question you want to ask us, put that in the Q&A. We are also very active and chatty. We like to be interactive and engaging. So if you would like to engage at the chat, please feel free. That is kind of like a side conversation as we're going through this. We're very comfortable. We've gotten pretty good at it over the year in terms of managing a conversation, a presentation, as well as some of the chat. And we find that it is extremely engaging and interactive for you to do so. I'm going to introduce the board in 1 minute, but I want to start by saying a couple things about this past year and a half and what we've seen. And this is going to be a forward-looking conversation in terms of TOC and what's coming in the program year. We're kind of putting our rear view mirror in the rear. We're now focused outside of our windshield, and we're driving this TOC vehicle forward. We've had a number of different challenges, as I'm sure you all have, right? So 2020 into 2021 has perhaps been the most difficult years that we've experienced personally, professionally, you name it, we've been there. It saw this dealing with, some of the things going on in the pandemic. Politics were a crazy encounter this year. We saw civil rights and racial injustices over the course of the year. I'm not going to bring back the flood of memories that we've lived through, but all that to say is we've gotten through it. We're here in 2021, and we're now looking forward to 2021 and 2022. So while we've gotten comfortable with the remote environment that we are, TOC is quite proud that we have successfully delivered our first awards program this year from last year, recognizing the award recipients of 2021. We've held that back in September. It was our first in-person event. So our philosophy is pretty simple. We believe that in-person and networking is core to TOC. The TOC involvement, engagement, and networking community involves in-person events wherever possible and however comfortable we can make you in doing so. We've taken steps deliberately to instill some of the security constraints that we have in accordance with the CDC guidance. When we talk about in-person activities, we are very conscious of that activity and also making sure that we respect and oblige by the regulations. We also want to make sure that you're comfortable. So it is very important for TOC to not only offer that in-person networking and development activities that we have been known for and will continue to do so, but also offer you options where if you're not comfortable coming in person quite yet, we offer you options for that as well. So the hybrid kind of virtual joining, we're trying to allow for the maximum amount of flexibility. And that has been a principle that we've tried to apply to TOC and moving forward. So with that said, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the open house of TOC today. We are exploring what's coming this year in TOC, and we've got quite a bit of stuff. This year has forced us to be very creative in our approach and into our professional development program. So I'm going to ask the board to talk a little bit about their experiences. We've got some case studies and some kind of sharing that we want to do with you. But before that, I want to call your attention to the faces that you see on the screen. These are all the TOC board members. These board members have been instrumental in making sure that we're able to keep the lights on. And these are the reasons that we have a TOC to come to. These folks are volunteers. They have day jobs for the most part. Some of them may be retired or in the process of retiring. However, most of them are actively engaged and working regardless of work status, whether they're engaged, whether they're not working or they are working. They give their time and their energy to TOC and they try to make it its best. And in today's session, you'll learn a number of different things that are coming from TOC, but let me introduce the board real quick. The officers, in addition to myself, Steve Dabrowski. I don't know that I said my name and introduced. I currently work for Cornerstone On Demand, but I'm also a former Fed, been in the Treasury Department and IRS in particular for a number of years. And I've served TOC for, over a decade in various capacities. So it's my pleasure to join you today as the chair. I'd like to introduce the secretary, who is Dr. Ellen Roderick. Ellen has been a longtime supporter of TOC and a champion, celeb also of TOC. Stephanie Campbell is our treasurer. Stephanie is the one who keeps us honest and keeps us with the lights on and makes sure that we're able to offer the great services that we do in the constraints that we have with the budget approval and the different constraints that we have with financial limitations. So Stephanie has been doing a great job in making sure that we're able to keep the lights on and deliver the quality program that you've come to be used to. Shanda Adams is the site selection. She's also the annual institute chair. She's also the vice technologist. So as you'll hear me mention, we have some of the duplicate roles where we're able to support each other across the board. So it's not just one person that is so critical and so demanding on the support that we need. So we try to have some redundancy in our approach. Lynn Burton, you'll hear a little bit more from Lynn as we start going into this. Lynn is the co-chair of recruitment and retention. There's quite a bit of exciting stuff that's coming down between her and Michelle, and you'll hear more about that later today in the session. Rhonda Carter. Rhonda Carter is the historian and the awards and scholarship co-chair. If you recall, just recently we had an outstanding, successful awards and scholarship session back in September that went phenomenally well. So kudos to Rhonda and Gary, whom I will be introducing here momentarily. Michelle Clark. Michelle is the co-chair of recruitment and retention, and along with Lynn, has introduced new flexibilities and creative solutions that we are really excited to share with you today. Eugene DeRobeau. Eugene is the assistant treasurer and the strategic partnerships and vendor relations and metrics chair, and that is a mouthful, and Eugene delivers consistently and repeatedly in everything that we have going for TOC with Eugene as well. He's also stepped into a new role as the assistant treasurer, so that's also a really nice stretch for us and also introducing some redundancies. Dr. Claire Gutwich. Dr. Claire Gutwich is the assistant secretary, and she is the professional development program vice chair, as you heard Trina mention. Karen Hoffman is the Professional Development Program Vice Chair. She is instrumental in developing some of the quality programming that we're delivering. She's also the administrator for TOC. We have a new support company that is supporting TOC and everything logistically that we need to do in order to make sure that we run a program effectively and efficiently. Lynera Jones. Lynera is the communications and marketing chair. She does everything in terms of the newsletter and the communications that you see. Our social media posts come from this very fine, bright young lady who is becoming quite the whiz with technology and really exhibiting some muscle in terms of really communicating a message for TOC. Chris King. Chris is the chief technologist and is responsible for our website and the maintenance and the delivery of the resources that we actually need for an effective program. She's also the monitor and the keeper of all things in terms of content that we have in our website, which you will hear more about as we start to explore some of the options you have as TOC resources. Trina Petty is the chair of the professional development program. Trina is instrumental in delivering the quality programs that you're going to see here highlighted today. Dr. Gary C. Powell is the awards and scholarship co-chair. Gary did a fantastic job with the awards program a few weeks ago. Mike Powell is our logistics chair. He is the one that makes sure that all of the wrinkles get wrinkled out or ironed out in all of the smooth activities that we have going on with the City Club and also some of the logistics that we're trying to host some facilities. So she's been instrumental in making sure that we work out all the details. Cheryl Campbell, who you met, Cheryl Campbell, Cheryl Seminara, sorry. Cheryl Campbell is a coworker of mine. Cheryl Seminara is a fellow board member of mine, and she is the site selection and annual institute vice chair, and she also introduced the program. So Cheryl, thank you so much. I apologize for confusing you with one of my coworkers. But Cheryl, could you please advance us to the next slides? So this year's theme, as we start to roll out some of our program, is going to be focused in on some of the messaging that you see coming out from us. And the theme for us this program year is resetting your compass. As you all can mention or can imagine, this past year has been a lot of challenges. And so one of the things that we think is instrumental in maybe refining your point and refocusing some of your efforts is resetting your compass. How are you going to that new future? What does that new future look like? And there's a number of different side thematic messages that go along with those resetting your compass. And I'll let the program committee talk a little bit about that. But this is kind of a Build Back Better initiative, kind of like what did we experience in this year and how are we resetting our focus and making sure that we're focused in on the right things. So TOC, along with some of the resources that you have currently in your quiver, is one of those things that helps you accomplish what you're trying to meet for your workforce development initiatives in your organization. So resetting your compass, charting your new future is our theme that applies to everything that we do throughout the year, but also will apply to our annual institute. The one thing I do want to point out is all the different resources that you have coming at you from TOC. You're going to hear more details around this in this session, but let me just summarize it. We deliberately have kind of set the registration rates and some of the activities that you do in TOC at a deliberate price point, right? So we believe that we deliver quality training and development programs, just shy of 30 hours completely, right? So if you quantified all the different in-person sessions, the webinars, and also the annual institute, we're just shy of 30 hours of development. And TOC delivers that 30 hours of development for less than $2,000 for the entire year. And that not only covers the training and development that we do throughout the year, but it also encompasses what we do at the annual institute, which is our 3-day intensive institute where you meet, network, and share and collaborate with TOC registrants. But you also get your room and board, your food and everything covered, as well as that under that $2,000, right? So really a bargain deal for what you're asked to spend for your organization. So we really were deliberate about doing that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to a video that we've kind of pulled together that's going to show that here in a minute. But really, when we talk about what's in it for you in terms of your registration, if you're looking at the full registration benefits, you have the networking events, which you're going to hear about quite a bit later in the session. I think Mike is going to introduce some of the networking events. We have the in-person professional development. We are bringing back in-person events safely and in light of the environment that we're in with respect to some of the constraints that we actually have. May 1st through 4th, you're going to hear about our annual institute, which is going to be in Wilmington, Delaware. You'll hear more about that through this session today. We have a number of different interactive webinars that we're delivering free to TOC registrants. Well, I guess not free, but as part of your registration benefit. And then finally, we're granting access to all the different content library that we actually have, that we've stored among a couple of years that we've been doing this now. So we gain access to some of the resources that we have for registration registrants within TOC. So a lot of different information and a lot of different resources at your fingertips. I want to highlight it with this video that's about to show. So Cheryl, if you could advance us to the next slide and show this video for me, please.
TOC is excited to welcome registrants for the 2021-2022 program year. Our theme, Reset Your Compass, Chart Your New Future, is integrated into all of our program activities. We have planned PDP webinars to deliver timely, relevant content virtually, PDP in-person events to meet and engage with you in person through panels, presentations, and discussions, our annual institute, offered in person or online for 3 days of learning and networking, and community events for you to get involved with TOC. We have multiple registration options available to meet your needs. Don't miss the early bird registration ending August 31st. Our schedule is packed this year and we can't wait for you to join us. Register today.
Yes, and big shout out to Lanira and Shanda Adams. Lanira, fantastic, who you heard her voice on there. Just been really great in terms of advertising, marketing, all the different resources that you have at your fingertips. So thank you very much to those two, Lanira especially. And then Dr. Cheryl Seminara, you have advanced it to the next slide where I am going to introduce a friend of mine, Lynn Burton. Lynn is the Chief Learning Officer for the U.S. Department of Justice, the Federal Prison Industries and Federal Prisons, and also a recent TOC award winner for some of the efforts that she's led at her organization. So Lynn, I know that you've been involved actively with TOC for a number of years. I'm going to turn this over to you so you can share your TOC story with the rest of us. And Lynn, you might still be on mute.
I'm working on it, and we're dealing with a little bit of slow network here. So bear with me. There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and so glad to have a chance to talk to you a little bit about my engagement with TOC over the years. And we're going to say over many years, but it's contributed greatly to my organization and my professional career as well. Probably most exciting for me was my first encounter with TOC was to present at one of the professional development programs regarding some of the things that we were doing in our organization. And certainly, as a recipient of the Professional Development Award this year, along with George Washington University, who helped us shape our coaching program, once again, it circles back to what we are contributing to our organization as a opportunity that would not have existed without some of the resources in TOC, and definitely meeting my GW partner, Ina. Was a beautiful opportunity for us to begin to formulate this program that we recently were recognized for. So what I have done as an individual registrant, I have presented, I have attended multiple annual institutes, gained resources that are responsible for me having the insights that were important for my organization to bring us back into technology that we needed, to bring us into content, ideas and content development. And the coaching program is a perfect example of that. Our current learning management system is a result of my contacts within TOC, and definitely other awards and opportunities for me to engage in the learning and development community has all sprung from relationships developed within TOC. We've also been able, I've called on my TOC peers to help us when we are developing leadership programs, to bring in some consummate professionals to work with our leadership team in their training. My leadership team, including the executive director, or the CEO actually for Federal Prison Industries, are very interested in many of the opportunities that we've developed as a part of my experiences working with and engaging with so many wonderful professionals in our organization. So I'm a cheerleader here. I enjoy the work that we've experienced. I am excited about what we have to come. I am looking forward to our blended opportunities that have people who are enjoying their engagement, but also people that are new to the organization and help us shine a light on what's important in the learning and development community across government and frequently across many other organizations. So your contributions, we're looking forward to. We want you to join us. We want you to engage with us, and we want to be able to benefit from that relationship as much as you can as well too. So Steve, I'm going to hand it back to you. There was one question about some topics for the annual institute, and I'm going to kind of lean towards you to talk about that. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about my experience.
Yes, thank you so much, Lynn. Really appreciate it. Great story. We hear quite a bit of those stories, and it's really refreshing to hear from you as how you've made a difference for Federal Prison Industries, and we're happy that TOC is a part of that. I see the question that's in there from Mo, and then Mo, I'm going to hang you in there for a minute. We're going to talk about the Annual Institute here as we get going here, but I want to introduce Eugene DeRiveau. Eugene, if you could come on the mic and share with us a little bit about TOC.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm so delighted to be here. I have my firm and myself have been involved with TOC since the mid-2000s. In addition to my role as strategic partnerships and vendor relations. By the way, if you are part of that vendor community or the strategic partners that we have in the academic arena and others, reach out to me at partners@trainingofficers.org, because we as a community, as feds and vendors and partners, can all come together to really make a big difference going forward, as we have in the past. One of my roles is metrics. That's what my firm does. That's what I love to do. TOC doesn't just put out content and hope and cross our fingers that it's going to work. We have been monitoring and measuring the success of what we do. We're all about evidence, right? In the federal government and throughout all kind of business areas. It's important to know, are you setting goals, or what kinds of metrics are you trying to achieve? And TOC is no different. The board itself, as long as I've known it, even before I was involved, has been collecting information from the registrants, from vendors, about how well things are going. For many years, we've been having little snippets in our newsletters about TOC by the numbers. Some of the things that we collect obviously are, the number of registrants. We're like any organization, we need to make sure we're vibrant, viable. We track our costs very tightly. We track our investments. From a content area, we also are looking, like many of you in the L&D space, you have all kinds of things you're looking at in terms of customer satisfaction. We look at relevancy of the programs that we put forward. We really have high goals, high thresholds of quality that we have in terms of how relevant these are to our community, to our registrants, to the vendors, to the entire TOC family. So the relevancy of the content, the level of engagement. Of course, we want good presenters who really engage our audience and make it a worthwhile and enjoyable experience. And then something that's really near and dear to my heart and to all the board, and I know to all of you, is applicability. it's great to go to programs, and every once in a while we need to go to something that's just enjoyable to be a part of and makes us feel better. But it's, at the end of the day, this is an investment, and we need to be able to take lessons learned back to our workplace and apply them. So for many years, TOC has been monitoring applicability and paying attention to whether everyone who participates is able to say, yes, I was able to take something back. We have the standard question we ask all the time is, there's at least one lesson I was able to take back and apply. And we really mean that, and we really value that. So applicability is another thing we look at. And finally, the Net Promoter Score, which is something many of you are familiar with. It's really used in the marketing world. It's a measure of, you could say, of loyalty of a customer. If that customer is able to turn to somebody else that they know in their network, amongst their peers, and say, yes, I recommend TOC or whatever it is. If they're able to say that at a high level, that is a very positive thing and scientifically researched to be an indicator of future success for the organization. I will say that TOC, it's just flabbergasting to me. Historically, our Net Promoter Score has been well above the 70s and often into the 80s. That's world-class, folks. If you look at some other organizations, I know it's not always applicable for training, but as an organization, we want to make sure that you are comfortable and confident in saying to those that you meet back in the office or wherever, to put your own reputation on the line and say, I think you should really look at TOC. So going forward, that's something that we're tapping into, and know that there's a hunger, there's a desire for organizations like TOC, and the numbers definitely speak to it. There's value that has been achieved through the past, through our relevant content, through our engaging content, through our applicable programs. And it's created an atmosphere and an environment where we're not just making these numbers up. This is what you all are saying regularly, and what his past registrants and participants have said. They really see the value of it and are willing to share it. So on that note, let's move on to the next slide. In addition to numbers, we always ask for open-ended feedback from folks for every single program, for every single annual institute. And we collect those and we read them and we pay attention to them. We share them back with the presenters so that they can hone their own skills and see the kudos that are being received, because we like to share. But a lot of very positive comments. We're a family, so every once in a while we get our little, come on, you gotta please look at this, or please improve that, and we pay attention to that too. I will say overall, there's a lot of wonderful feedback and a lot of confidence and a lot of desire for TOC to thrive and be a resource throughout the federal government space for all L&D organizations. There's so many wonderful things we've been hearing. Obviously, as Steve said earlier, there's a pent-up desire to get back together, which I know is a challenge. We all know that, but it's something we are seeing in the feedback that we get, in the testimonials that we get. I'm showing just a few of them, and Lanira, in the marketing pieces that we're sending out, will be highlighting here and there some of the feedback. Some folks have said these are some of the most valuable presentations they have ever been a part of. They're applicable to our environment. They love the tools that they're hearing about, not only what the federal agencies are doing, but some of the vendor tools and the vendor solutions and services that are being tapped into, our wonderful academic alliance folks and the beautiful programs that they have that allow us, our workforce, to develop. And I will say, it's one of the most striven things from our vendor community, of course, is the ROI. And we many of the vendors have come to me and said, yes, I do see ROI. Some are more challenged in that area, but I think as we all get more involved, we'll continue to see opportunities, because there's ROI necessary for the feds, for the vendors, for the academic partners and other partners. And that's important to TOC. It's important to all the board members that there's value in what we do and what we present and what we share in. So on that note, I'm going to turn it back to Cheryl, who's going to talk to us about the 2022 Annual Institute.
Thank you so much, Eugene. And thank you, Steve and Trina, for including the AI. I'm so excited about it. I have loved going to AIs. I've met some amazing partners at AIs, even hired somebody I met at the first AI I went to. So this year's Annual Institute will be May 1st through 4th, and it will be in Wilmington, Delaware. We are working right now on creating some amazing activities, but I first want to walk you through how our tracks are going to be aligned. And Steve already introduced to you the theme of Reset Your Compass, Chart Your New Future. So what we're looking at is North is networking. It's about building those coalitions. It's about partnering and influencing. South is skills. These are the things we need to be successful. East is e-learning, and that's where we're talking about leading change, creativity, innovation. And finally, West is wellness. If we've learned nothing else in the past year, it's how we promote our own wellness. So as I said, the Institute will be May 1st through 4th. The 1st is Sunday, and that is your travel day. And there's a fabulous welcome reception where we recognize our first-time Annual Institute attendees. So a little bit more about the AI. We are going to have 21 concurrent sessions. These are for the folks that are in-person registrations. So what does that mean? Remember, Steve has told you as part of your TOC registration, you get the Annual Institute for free. But you may only want to do the Annual Institute. You may only want to do it virtually. So the in-person session, the in-person registration comes with 21 concurrent sessions, 2 keynotes, at least 2 plenary sessions, 2 panels, amazing special events. And the beauty of this is you will network throughout every activity we do. Lodging and meals is included. I have to tell you, I was shocked the first time I did an AI because I didn't realize lodging and meals were included. If you opt for the virtual registration, you will have 7 virtual sessions. We have networking sessions built in. And right now we're tentatively planning to stream the keynotes, plenaries, and panels. So Maurice, we're going to get to your question now about what kinds of topics are covered. The beauty of that is we will actually drive this from our folks that apply. So one thing you can do to participate in the AI is register. Whether you register as a TOC registrant, and we hope you do that, or whether you just want to do the Institute either in person or virtual. You can also volunteer. We're calling these folks our shipmates, and it's a great way for you to be on the inside and help drive what the Annual Institute is doing. And if you commit to volunteering at the AI, you will be able to enjoy a reduced rate for registration. You can be an exhibitor. The exhibit hall is right smack where we're going to be having all our meals. So it's a great way for you to connect with other folks. I know Lynn has said she has found vendors through her participation in TOC, and that is one of the great things you can do. You can sponsor the Annual Institute. We have some amazing opportunities from being the title sponsor to actually having your name and logo on the notebooks and other swag that we'll be handing out. And finally, we will be posting the opportunity to present in probably mid-October, end of October. So we will be sending an email out. We'll broadcast it first to all the registrants. It'll be on our website, and we will be posting it in social media. there's two kinds of presentations. So the first is you can present a lesson learned, have an educational session, but you can also present a case study. This is a great way for a vendor and their federal partner to share a solution they came to together and how it worked out. So I'm really excited about that and would love to have you participate in the AI. I have to tell you, it's one of my favorite things that we do. And right now, I am going to turn it over to the amazing Mike Powell, who's going to tell you about an event coming up. And I am super excited about that.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all again for joining us. My name is Mike Powell. I am the logistics chair with TOC. I have been with TOC now, I think since 2010. I can't remember it. Has gone by so fast, but it also seems like it's been forever. So I can't keep up. But and before I get into this, let me just apologize for my attire. I'm usually not dressed this casually, but I'm doing something that's not quite fun, which is in the process of moving. So I'm packing boxes and moving, and I don't even know where my polo shirts are right now. So I apologize for that, but let's talk about something that is fun that we all enjoy doing with TOC, and that's networking. You know, what many people really appreciate about TOC is the community that we develop and the relationships that we build with each other. And we do that a lot of different ways. We obviously in person are able to do that at our PDP sessions. And we love to get together at our annual institute. But the past few years, we started also incorporating networking events into what we're doing. And certainly this year, with us having more of a hybrid model of virtual and in-person events, we wanted to make sure that we did not lose that ability for us to connect with each other and build those relationships that are so important. And so our first networking event this year is going to be next Thursday. We're calling it Swinging for Scholarships. And we are going to be traveling to my hometown, which is Oxon Hill, Maryland, and Top Golf. And if you don't like the name Oxon Hill, we can just call it National Harbor, right? For any of you all who are not familiar with the area, National Harbor is the new development in Prince George's County, and Top Golf is right adjacent to National Harbor. And we're going to be having a Swing for Scholarships event. We have an amazing partnership and relationship with the University of the District of Columbia, where we award a student each year a scholarship. And this is going to be a fundraiser for that purpose. And so we are fortunate to have our partner sponsorship organization, Management Concepts, who has always been able to support us in everything that we do and what we're doing, who has committed to supporting us throughout the year. And they're going to help us kick off our networking events with this Swing for Scholarships event at Top Golf. Now, if you haven't been to Top Golf before, let me describe to you what Top Golf is. I tell people Top Golf is a combination of kind of going to the driving range to play golf and going to the bowling alley to bowl, right? So it is a game really where you can accumulate points and you can have friendly competitions with your friends. And I actually went this past Saturday with a group of friends, and I play golf on a regular basis. And let me tell you, I'm awful at Top Golf, right? All of the people who actually don't play, they score much better than I do because, you know, I take it seriously and I try to do well and it never goes well. But the people who don't play and aren't trying hard and just having fun, they seem to always do better than I do, right? So you don't have to be a golfer to come to Top Golf and have a good time. You don't even have to come and play, right? You can just come and hang out. There'll be foods there. We're going to have drinks. We're going to be doing trivia and door prizes. There are many different ways that you can sign up if you're a TOC registrant. The cost is $25. If you're a non-registrant, the cost is $30. If you want to sponsor an organization like my company, the Powell Consulting Group is going to sponsor a team of 6. So we're going to have some of our staff and employees come out, and for a team of 6, that will be $150. And that includes, the game. You don't have to bring any clubs. You don't have to bring your balls. They have everything there for you. The food, all of the, beverages that you're going to consume, all of that is going to be included in your price. And it's going to be a very fun time to get to meet people, to get to interact with folks. Next Thursday, not sure what the weather will be, but Top Golf is covered. It's outdoors, but it is covered and the bays are heated, right? So even though we're outside, you'll still be comfortable. Even if it rains, right, we'll still be covered and protected from the rain, unless it's like something ridiculous, like a hurricane or something crazy where it's raining sideways. We should still be able to go out and have a good time. So I hope that you are able to join us. It is really fun. That is one of the hallmarks of TOC, is folks coming together and collaborate. I know I jinxed it, Chris, I'm sorry. Folks coming together and collaborating and having a good time. We're also planning an event for December, which we will have some more information for you, in the next few weeks, but certainly next Thursday. If you can register for that event, that would be great. We need to have the registrations in by September 30th. So I think that is in 2 days, right? Is that Friday? Because we need to secure our bays with Top Golf. Top Golf is a really popular spot, and we want to make sure that we have our space reserved. So let us know if you're able to join us. You'll have some board members there. You have some registrants there. Bring your family, bring your friends. We want to introduce people to TOC and let them know that we aren't just a learning organization in terms of the content, but we are a learning organization in terms of relationships. So learning about each other, getting to know each other and what we do and how we connect is what we're all about. So come out and join us. It'll be a great day, a great evening. I promise you it will be fun. And we're looking forward to seeing you there. So again, we need you to register by September the 30th to save your spot. There is a link, I believe it's on our website. It's an Eventbrite link, and you can pay directly through that link, and we will then take care of your reservation with Top Golf. So come out and join us. We're going to have fun. Look forward to it. And thank you all again for joining us today. And I look forward to meeting you all in person sometime soon. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Mike. And as a huge fan of Top Golf, I cannot encourage you enough. You don't have to be the best player to actually have fun at Top Golf. So please consider joining that. As Mike said, it is on our website, and I'll be sharing information about our website in a moment. So while we wait for questions to come in, and you can put them in the Q&A and we'll answer them live, I'm going to ask Trina and Steve to put on their cameras and their mics. And I've got a couple questions that I know folks ask often. So while we wait for questions to come in, Steve, for the folks joining us today who are interested in becoming a registrant, what's the best way for them to reach us?
Sure. So our best way and our easiest way to reach us, a couple different things. One is we have a number of different registration options, right? So as we approach this program year, we wanted the maximum amount of flexibility. So the easiest way to register is to go to trainingofficers.org on the website. And from there, there's multiple different ways in for registration. You also may reach out to me at tocchair@gmail.com, tocchair@gmail.com, and I can certainly direct you in the right way. Again, on the website, it kind of highlights the different options that you have. We had an early bird. We've got multiple different registrants from the same organizations to join. And thank you very much, Cheryl, for putting my email address in the chat, so you have that as well. I can help facilitate whatever direction you want to go. We have a virtual option. We also have multiple different people in one agencies. We've also introduced some partnership and sponsorship opportunities that we've never had before in TOC. This one is extremely popular and has been a huge success. So if you have any questions, you're able to reach out to either Eugene, who was on the call earlier, or you can also interact with Lynn Burton, whom I believe I put her email address in the chat as well. But we can make sure that we put that up there for her in terms of partnerships and sponsorships opportunities. But again, just explore it. And if there are questions that you have, I'm happy to answer that as well. And
Thank
Trina, I
you.
don't know, Trina, did you have anything to add to that?
Not to that. You covered it all. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. And I want to remind everybody, we are going to have some amazing sponsorship opportunities as well for the AI. So here's the thing about TOC, whether you're a registrant, a sponsor, if you're a vendor that wants to exhibit, whether you're a senior federal official or somebody just starting out in learning development, TOC has the opportunities for you. It's an amazing organization and one that I believe in, and trust me, I think you will too. I would like everybody who is involved in the board, whether you're on the membership and retention committee, whether you are on the professional development committee, and Eugene, I know you've done this already. If we could do it again, if you could take a moment and add the email addresses for your group into the chat, that would be awesome. And we will make sure that when we send out a thank you to all the participants, that you get this information as well. One other thing, if you did not register and provide us your name when you signed in to the Zoom today, or if you signed into Zoom with a phone number or something else, if you could please email me your information so that I can make sure we have the chance to send you additional information, answer any other questions you have. I've put my email in there, and Trina has added the program committee email. So I want to do one last call for questions. You can put them in the chat or you can put them in the Q&A. Does anybody have any questions we could answer?
Well, I will say the one thing that we have not covered is TOC likes to have a lot of fun. And so as you start to engage with us in TOC and you learn some of our individual personalities and opportunities to network and to collaborate, it is an environment that is a safe space for folks to test some questions and test ideas or share best practices. It is overall a community, and we take that very seriously. As I'm sure you will see as we start to come back to in-person events, we thrive on that interaction that we have amongst our network. That is critical for, I think, everyone that's on the board, but also all the registrants that have been in TOC. One of the best things that they say is going for TOC is the community and the people. We take that very seriously. We consider ourselves family. We also like to have fun. So please, if you haven't met us, please don't be shy. TOC, I will tell you, the thing that I learned early on is TOC is an environment that you can't be shy in, right? Don't expect to come to TOC and check your BlackBerry or your iPad. I can't believe I said BlackBerry. Your email or your device or whatever. I'm indicating my age. I can't believe that. So don't think that you're going to be reading your emails on your device while you're at TOC. We actively will befriend you and pull you into our family. So I'm really happy, really excited. What is a BlackBerry? Ha ha ha. So I don't know, Cheryl, if you have any other questions that came in, but
we do have some, Steve. So
Okay.
I'm going to turn this, I'm going to let you address the first part, and then there's another question for Trina. So the question is, are there any in-person TOC events, and can I invite a coworker?
excellent question. Yes, absolutely. So There's a number of different in-person events that are coming up. First one is November 9th. It will be at the City Club. For those of you that don't know, the City Club is a location that we've met safely and conveniently for our awards program in September, on September 14th. So November 9th is the first in-person development, professional development. January 11th is the second. March 8th is the third. Of course, we have the annual institute from May 1st to the 4th, and then a follow-on activity on June 14th. Our in-person event will be held in person on June 14th as well. So that wraps up kind of the in-person events. As we start to build partnerships and alliances between different organizations, you may see more of those programs come in person that might be co-sponsored with TOC with another organization. We also have a lot of the networking events that are coming that Michelle and Mike have been instrumental in championing. First one is Swinging for Scholarships at Top Golf. I am not a golfer, but I actually have been practicing. I actually have calluses and blisters on my hands from this weekend. I went golfing and learned that you need a collar shirt on the golf course in order to go to the driving range. So a lesson learned on that. But yeah, we have plenty of instructor-led or in-person events coming. Also, it's important for us to offer options. We have the hybrid virtual solution as well. Yeah, so I think I've successfully stuck my foot in my mouth with both BlackBerry and the blisters. So thank you, my fellow board members, for making that front and center in the chat.
Well, thank you, Steve. Trina, we have a question. Could you share some of the topics that will be in the PDP this year? And let's talk about that October event coming up.
Sure, thank you. So on October 12th, we're going to have a webinar pertaining to mental health in the current environment. We all have been through been on an emotional roller coaster this past year. And we sometimes have not taken care of ourselves, nevertheless, taking care of each other. So we're going to be talking about this. We have an expert that is going to be joining us via webinar on October 12th, which is a Tuesday. And hopefully you're going to be a registrant, so you will be able to join us also. As Steve mentioned, Tuesday, November 9th at the City Club. Yay! We're going to be in person and we're going to have a C-suite panel. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but we hope you can join us in our safe, COVID-free environment. When we're in person, we will be in mask unless you're sitting and eating. So I want to stress that. At our awards ceremony, we made sure that we were masked up. We had fun. And it was fun seeing each and every one of you that was there. So hopefully you'll be able to join us in person at the City Club November 9th. And in December, as Mike mentioned, we're going to have a networking event, but don't be surprised. We may also have a webinar. We have been receiving, it's been amazing this past week. Claire and Karen will tell you that the proposals have been coming in left and right. So we're just overwhelmed with the number of proposals that we have received. And we may be doing some double up in these months. So as a registrant, you may be getting more than what we originally offered. So please, we're emphasizing that registration. In January, this is usually an overwhelming event where we have someone to come to speak to us about what's happening in Congress. This has been, and it's going to be in person. We have always had too many people that it's never too many with TOC, but we have always been enlightened on whoever has spoke to us about what's happening with Congress. And it's always something going on with Congress. In February, we're going to have one of our new people speaking during a webinar. And we will be putting our entire calendar of events on our website very soon. So I don't want to go into too many details. But our proposals do address our theme for this year, in addition to the OPM ECQs. And
can you remind
yes,
us what's the due date for a proposal for the professional development program?
it's right around the corner, Cheryl. Thanks for asking. September 30th. So if you're interested in submitting a proposal, you only have a couple of days. Look on our website, trainingofficer.org, and you will see how to submit a proposal. It's right around the corner. If you're interested in presenting to our TOC registrants, you don't have a lot of time. So please get it out there.
Thank you.
March, let me go just a little further. I know we're getting rid of the time. March, Women in Leadership. April, we'll have a webinar. May, we have our annual institute. And we're going to be doing something in June and July. So please join us. Thank you, Cheryl. Turning it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Trina. And thank you, everybody who is actually throwing questions into the chat and answering them. I really appreciate it. This is our website, trainingofficers.org. You can see it. This is where you would go to put your proposal for the professional development program. There's information about upcoming events, as well as the annual institute. Now that is under construction, but we will have information available soon, including the opportunity to present at the AI. Couple of reminders, do not miss that deadline, 9:30, to actually put in a proposal to present, and 9:30 is also the deadline if you want to swing for scholarships. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. I love and appreciate what you're doing. I'm going to leave the chat open for another 10 minutes. Please feel free to continue asking questions there. I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you to our panelists, and thank you to the entire board who has been tirelessly managing the chat. I'm Cheryl Seminar. It's been great hosting this event, and I hope to see you at a TOC event soon.